We have the Sako 75 in the blueprinting jig in the 4-jaw chuck. And now we are centering it, aligning it, rather. We are aligning it for total axial alignment. So we're just roughing it in right now. Roughing it in. The Sako 75. All right, I'm happy with that. So that's roughed in. Now I have switched to the 1/10 thousandths indicator. And we're going to finish aligning this, as you will see, two within 1/10 thousandths of an inch. Checking the other end here. Very, very sensitive. Now, if you're seeing this for the first time, these numbers mean nothing. Doesn't matter if I'm on 0, 40, 20, whatever. All we're concerned about is the run out, meaning the needle movement. Okay, there's pretty dang close. Almost 0. Run out. The likelihood of anything shifting out is greatly reduced due to the fact that we have flats on all sides, all 4 sides. So all 8 screws are bearing against flats, which is really nice for what we're doing here. So yeah, that's pretty dang close there. Let's see what's going on back here. Very, very small adjustment brings it into alignment. Let's come back up. Now we're getting close. See, that one does not, sorry. That one has not slipped out. That is barely moving. And back this way. Yeah, we're within a 1/2 I would say. So now we're just going to go around and make sure everything's snug. Okay. I think it gets any better than that, guys. That is it. Without touching anything. Back up front. Oh, yeah. This action is definitely aligned within, gosh, almost pretty much 0. 1/2. 1/2, 0, whatever you want to say. Close enough. Right? How close is that? What's 1/2 of a 10,000th of an inch? All right, let's check some run out features of the action, shall we? So I'm going to take this off. We're going to carefully remove this. Carefully, without bumping anything. This has to come out. Bushings are still in, so we can still use the mandrel if we need to recheck anything. Now, let's without cutting anything, let's see if I can get this indicator positioned in a good place to check this. So there is a relief on this action, on this receiver. There's a thread relief up front. which we're going to true up first. Let's see how much run out we got here, if any. Okay, focused. Oh yeah, look at that, guys. That is a whole full rotation, 0 all the way up to, we got about 11 thousandths run out on that guy, on this Sako. Wowee. So 11 thousandths in there. That's just the, that's right before the threads, right? We're not hitting a thread. There's just a blank section there cut out for relief. Move back just slightly. Yep, same thing. So we're almost there on the edge. I don't know if you can see that, but we're on the edge. Okay, so that is a lot. Sako 75, 11 thousandths run out there. Now let's see if we can get it on. I'd like to check the face too. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the dang thing. So this is not ideal whatsoever. But should give you a little bit of an idea. Okay, I think that's still in frame. And on the face, we are measuring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, more than that. So there's our low spot. Can you see that? Hope you can see that. I think we're focused. Yep. There's a low. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. 5 and a half on the face. Okay, so there you go. So you saw it was running completely true. 0 run out. Axial, total axial alignment. Now we're measuring the surfaces and there's tons of run out going on. Right, so we're gonna fix all that. It's just, we're gonna get out. I'm gonna get the tool installed. The internal threading tool, get the machine set up, and we'll start doing some cuts. And we'll show you that stuff. So stick around. Okay, here we are set up for truing the threads inside. 60-degree internal threaded cutter. I've got everything set up and good, ready to go. We're chasing those threads nicely. I have cut. So the Sako 75 previously had a relief cut here in the front, which measured, so the factory barrel, major diameter is 1 inch approximately, a little less. And this measured 1 inch for, across here, internal diameter. But what I've done, I think will be very fortuitous for my customer in the future if he ever decides to. What I'm going to do is I've opened this up to 1.062, 1 1/16 inch, which just happens to be the nominal major diameter for a Remington 700. So anyway, we're going to proceed to thread this down and clean up the threads. We are 50 thousandths off, so we're going to come in progressively until we start cleaning up. Now we're starting to contact. You can see a tiny chip on there. That was 25, so now we're going to back it up to 1 thousandths per. 24. 24 thousandths positive. We do not want to feed in too aggressively. 23. Especially in the beginning. 23 off. Positive 23. There we go. Just starting to wisp it. Oh, sorry about that. I hit my head on the camera. That was 23. Let's go 22. Positive 22 thousandths. Sako 75. Positive 21 thousandths. There we go. Now we're starting to do something. Let's go positive 21 thousandths. On the 2. Positive 20. Positive 19. Positive 17. So you hear that? So it's just hitting the one side, the high side of the threads right now. Positive 16 thousandths. Great. Positive 15. Okay, let's check progress here. Starting to see some shininess in there. There. So you can see, you may be able to see. I don't know if you're angled in there good enough yet, but it is definitely starting to clean up one side. Okay, positive 6. Positive 6. Positive 5. Positive 4. chips blown off here. Yeah, you can really see the progress now, though. Quite shiny. +4, let's go in +3. +2. Okay. +1. Zero. So here is where the original thread begins on the deepest portion. Oh yeah. We're getting some good chip lift there. Oh yeah. Hopefully this is in focus, but yeah, certainly clearing up there, cleaning up quite well. Yes, looks like you can see that real well. Still not a full cleanup. But we're getting close. Get some oil in there. -1. -2. -3. -4. -5. And so forth and so on. So I think you're getting the idea here. We will continue to cut this till it's sufficiently cleaned, and I'll check it with Remington 700 barrel stub to see if we're getting that 1 1/16 that we were looking for. Got plenty of meat on the walls here to deal with. So over 200 thousandths on the wall. $150 from where the new relief is here. So yeah, we've got tons of meat there to deal with. All right, guys, here we go. All finished with the truing cuts on this Sako 75, and now we're measuring run out. And now we're getting essentially zero. That little jumpiness you see there is just a little error in the reading, but so what is that? Half, tenth, maybe a tenth. So we're off the surface. I'm going to come back on. It's a very small sliver of surface area to check, but nonetheless. So there you go. What were we getting before? 5.5, I think, on the face. 5.5, something like that. It's just a little weird error thrown in there, but 1/10 of a thousandths from 5 thousandths, so that's pretty good, huh? And then let's get in here and check this other spot. This one we had what, 11, something like that, like 11 thousandths, I recall. Get in here and just touch off on this. Okay, there we go. Same thing. Couple tenths. Oh, what the heck was going on there? I'm thinking it's me bringing. So once I took that cut, I probably came out fast and dragged the tip of the tool across the surface. Yeah, clearance cut. It's a relief cut. Doesn't even touch anything, so it's not like it matters at all. Even if it was still 11 thousandths like it was before, but anyway, there you go. So, couple tenths on the face, couple tenths on the relief there. Okay, receiver is now out of the lathe, and it is all trued up real good. So all those shiny bits are the surfaces that I went in and single point remachined under the total axial alignment of the spinning receiver. So anyway, the receiver now is completely trued. So now we got the bolt work to do. So the Sako bolt is a little bit different, of course. So there are no threads in there. And holding this in a 4-jaw chuck is proving to be extremely difficult because there's really just no, you got a flat surface here, but there's barely any surface area because it's like an inclined wedge deal. So trying to get a jaw on that and protect this from getting marred is just not happening. Like I wasted a whole bunch of time trying to get this in a 4-jaw, and then this thing sticking out. You're gonna be pinching this and marring the crap out of it. So there's really no good way to hold this thing in a 4-jaw. Well, holding it here. I can get away with this with Howas and a few other bolts, or the bolts have threads in there, so I can just make a stub that will just screw into the back, and then I'll hold it there. Well, this one, I had to come up with a way to hold the back end of this bolt, be able to center it proper. You know, so what I did was grabbed a stick of aluminum, some aluminium, and made this kind of mandrel here. So it's just got a couple different diameters. So one diameter fits the inside striker hole, and then this larger diameter kind of bears up in here in this larger bit. And then I just drilled and tapped a hole there for a set screw to keep it from turning. So kind of like a custom lathe dog, I guess, if you will. So this snaps right in, so it's very, very slight, minimal clearance. There's a bit of clearance for the internal, but that guy really presses in nicely. So there's really no slop there, but we need a way to keep it from spinning when we're machining these pockets, so just a simple little machine screw. So now I've got one for my inventory of work holding devices and things like that. So now this is dead solid. It's not going to spin. I'm able to now center the bolt properly, and then this is going to ride off of. Also had to make this. So Sako firing pins are kind of odd size too. Not quite a Remington, not quite a Winchester. So a little stem there now fits this. Nice and snug. Right, so this is just an alignment. So this is machined concentric to the center drill back here. So all this does is keep the live center from wallowing out the firing pin hole. So it's like a false center. And the hole works, it's being held not off the bolt, it's being held off the face of the bolt down in here. So the pin centers it, and then it's bearing on the face of the bolt, keeping everything nice and straight as it's being machined. So that gives us access to the entire bolt body. It's centered up here by the firing pin, and then centered back here round. And then when I indicate it in, I do it a little bit ahead of where the sleeve's going to go, so that in that regard, if the customer needs me to redo a sleeve or something like that in the future, I can just center it off of the exact same place it was before and get it running true. Right, so we are now finally ready, after a few custom parts, to finally machine and sleeve this bolt. Sleeves are done, they're right here. Got the custom sleeves ready to go. And so yeah, we're gonna get this in the machine, center it up and do those cuts and get those sleeves attached. Back at the Grizzly, here we are. Got the bolt roughly installed. Like I said before, we got a live center with my custom false center for the bolt head, or the front of the bolt. And then back here is being held 4-jaw chuck in that custom mandrel I made with a little set screw to keep it from spinning. So kind of like a lathe dog in a way. But that's keeping me from crushing or marring anything on the nicely blued handle here. And it's going to allow me to be able to center this thing properly. And you can see we're pretty close already in terms of center. And then this, so the sleeve is going to go, so that indicator is touching off on a section of the bolt I'm not going to be cutting, but it's as close to where I'm going to be cutting as possible. So in the very unlikely event that I have to redo a sleeve, I can do this. I do this with every bolt, same thing, so there's no like having to remember or whatever. So now we'll just go ahead and manipulate these jaws, get the thing centered in, and preparing for the sleeving. This bolt seems pretty round. It's obviously round. I'm saying like, concentric, I suppose. because these are machined out of a cast, big old casting. So it is pretty impressively smooth and concentric. If that's not the right word, I'm sorry. I don't really, my vocabulary skills are terrible. But like with the Remington, a lot of times like this and this will be good, but the opposing sides will be off slightly. Saying it's slightly oval shaped. But not this one. This is pretty good. So yeah, there you go. Within a couple tenths. This is a 5 or a half thousandths indicator here, so a little bit of the swaying of the needle there is a couple tenths between the two hash marks. Okay, we're just going to come on and touch off and just make an initial cut, an initial pass right here. Okay, everything's looking good. It's machining nicely. Okay, we'll take a measurement and kind of see what we got left here. A little bit left. About 20 or so to go. There we go. And one. D is done. Now, we're going to check the gap. I think we can go a little deeper, see how there's a little gap there. We want both halves touching. But anyway, that's kind of the concept. We're going to do the same thing up here to the front, get those attached and let them cure overnight. Okay, sleeves are now turned down and the backs of the lugs have been trued up. I've got the entire bolt body polished in now. And so before I change setups here, we'll just do a quick little check here. The sleeve back here, 696. Just a touch over 696. Because we had a 697 bushing in there. So we want as minimal clearance as possible. And then 696, 05-ish for the front sleeve. And because we had a 6965 in the front. So we may have to do a little fine tuning on these when we get this bolt out and tested in the receiver, but that's good. From my experience, as long as we get a 0.5 thousandths undersized, again, we may have to adjust just a little bit, but using this mandrel I've made, that'll be easy to slap back in to do a little bit of very light sanding on these two surfaces, if at all even required. So I'm going to set up for the facing so we can cut the face of the bolt. We'll do that off of the sleeve so that these are all concentric with the new surface there. Yeah, that looks all real good. The blue stuff there is just some Dykem so I could make sure. It's hard to tell when I was cutting, so I wanted to put some Dykem on there so I could actually be 100% sure that it was cutting out. All three lugs equally. Alright, there's the forward end of the bolt, completely trued. Very nicely. Super nice finish on the surfaces there. So I obviously did the face, and then the nose of the bolt there. So yep, that completes the bolt work for this Sako 75. The bolt is now double sleeved and trued with perfection. Okay, we'll be back. I'm going to get this out of the lathe. We'll get this out and do some test fits, make sure it fits in the receiver and all that good stuff. And make any minor adjustments that may be needed, but shouldn't be much, if any. Then we will lap the bolt in with the trigger installed, as we always do. The right way, the best way, the only way, here at Accurate Rifles and Restorations. Sako 75, 7mm STW.